Okay, guys, on this channel, we're always talking about how Sacramento is affordable comparatively towards the Bay Area. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the true living in Sacramento, what it's all about. And I got Matt, the mortgage guy. Of course, you guys know his channel. I mean, blown up like crazy, Matt. We're going to talk a little cost of living. What do you think, Matt?
I mean, I'm here for it, man. Numbers all day, every day. We talk about, the trajectory of mortgage rates, how hopefully that's helping people a little bit with this issue that you're going to bring up about affordability, because, certainly on people's minds, Sacramento comparatively, you look at the average median price in California of $1 million, right? It's small compared to, it makes Sacramento's housing look relatively affordable. But then I talk to people, Mark, all day, every day that are living in Sacramento. They might work for the state of California. They might have a, 1 or 2 income household. It's not easy to buy even a starter home in Sacramento. So we'll talk about all things, mortgage related and the numbers behind it, and hopefully gives people some good tips and tricks for getting into the market in Sacramento.
100%. So, Matt, let me ask you, how long have you lived in Sacramento?
I have lived in Sacramento for all my glorious 44 years on this great earth. I've actually lived in College Glen for all that time, right? My parents bought the house that I grew up in sometime in 1981. I was born in 1980, so I officially moved there when I was 1. But spent my whole life in Sacramento. I studied abroad and spent a year and a half in Mexico, spent a 6-month stint in Australia, and did some traveling through Europe. But home base has always been Sacramento. So I feel like we got a pretty good handle on the Sacramento market and what that's like. For the last 10 years, been helping people with mortgages. And I talked to somebody today. I mentioned the number of loans I've done, not to impress somebody and be like, I've wrote 1,500 loans, but just to say, I've done this so many times, I can draw on real world experience when I'm telling you, hey, I think this is a good idea on how we structure this mortgage purchase, or, let's run a refinance break-even analysis. And I've wrote hundreds of millions in refinance. So yeah, I'm here for it, man. And especially if we're going to talk Sacramento and, help people out with how they break into the market.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, Matt is we're YouTube buddies, but he's also one of the top mortgage brokers in all the Sacramento area. I mean, he's a rock star when it comes to that. So if you do definitely want to get a mortgage, if you're thinking about talking to someone, Matt's definitely the guy. And I definitely also want to plug your YouTube channel, Matt. Great YouTube channel. The thing I love about Matt's YouTube channel as well, too, is that he's not doing it because he wants to be a YouTuber. He's not, oh man, I'm retiring, I'm going to be the next Casey Neistat. He's doing it because he wants to actually give people information, and he just wants to help people out. And, if him and I can buy a couple of Starbucks with our earnings from YouTube every month, we're good, but so Matt's a good dude, and I would definitely check out his channel. But one of the reasons why I talked to you about how long have you been here? I mean, as far as Sacramento goes, relatively to the Bay Area, relatively to the LA, relatively to those spots. Yeah, Sacramento is super affordable. But if you come from middle America, if you're coming into anywhere in California, there's a little bit of a sticker shock to there. Don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. And, people are coming from Tennessee, or they're coming from Iowa, and 500,000 is a big price tag. The good thing about California is wages are higher than those places too. So hopefully that offsets it a little bit, right? You talk to traveling nurses, you talk to people that have, had a job in Nebraska, and to do the same thing in California, you're probably going to get paid 30 or 40% more than you will in some of those states. But trust me when I tell you, I've had this conversation around affordability. I've had this conversation around, the mortgage payment that's tied to a $500,000 purchase tens of thousands of times. So I realize, especially for first-time home buyers, it's not easy. But good news is it's getting a little easier. Rates are down over the last 4 or 5 months. I was looking at a chart today, and we're touching 7.5 back in April. It doesn't feel like that long ago, and in a 5-month period, we've gone from mid 7s to low 6s. So interest rates have come down. It should help people afford a home. I know you've got some slides, you've got some stuff to talk about. The problem for a lot of people is okay, I can afford the house payment now, but everything else is unaffordable. I can't afford a gallon of gas or, a gallon of milk, and everything else in my life is more expensive.
Well, I mean, honestly, those Costco bills have definitely gone up, but it's not just us. I mean, I think it's everywhere. I mean, everywhere it's just we've seen a hike in prices and everything too. I do think though there's a lot of people who look at like moving maybe to Sacramento, and they're saying maybe they're coming in from Texas in one of those mega mansions that they paid like $2 for, and they're coming into Sacramento. They're saying, why would I do this to myself? Why am I going to do this? And there is a little bit of that. I mean, if you have a good job, if you have the family and you're there, I mean, it is a little bit of like, but I'd say like, and I always say this and people get so mad when I say this. I think if you live in Sacramento, you are paying a little bit of a premium to be in California. Weather. I mean, you see all that news about in Florida with the hurricanes, tornadoes, and all that stuff too. It's like weather. We get the seasons changing. I know you're going to be on the snowboarding with your kids in like a month or so, whatever. Like what? Well, you'll take maybe a half day off because you'll be up there in about an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, we do have a little bit of that. So I think like, yes, California, as far as, middle America, it is going to be a little bit of a sticker shock. But at the same time, like Matt said, our jobs do pay more here. And if you are able to make the commute, or not the commute, the transfer over here, and you're getting more money, then all of a sudden you're in an area where I think you're going to have a lot nice weather. You're going to get a lot of stuff to do, and you're not going to be paying the premiums that you would in the Bay Area or LA. Right, Matt?
Yeah. And the funny part is I remember all of this talk around mass exodus. Everyone's leaving California. They're going to Florida and Texas and Arizona and Nevada and Tennessee. I've done a handful of loans. I literally have one in contract right now, Mark, moving back from Texas. Moved to Texas, was out there and was like, I can't, there's no trees out here, and so this client who moved from California to Texas is back, sold her Texas place, bought a house in California, and just like, you can't beat the weather. California's not perfect. And so, you might not agree with all the politics. You might be upset with, 13% state tax, which I think they're trying to get up to 14.2, I heard. But no matter what, it's a beautiful place to live. And to your point, Sacramento, right in the middle, you got an hour and a half one way to the ocean. You got an hour and a half the other way to the mountains. Like it's got a lot of stuff. And Sacramento proper, man, dude, like the farm to fork capital, got all kinds of great food, all kinds of great breweries. If I don't drink anymore, so I wouldn't know anything about breweries, but I know that I've got friends that talk about how great the beer is in Sacramento. And so there's a lot to be said about, quality of life, and it's a nice place to live.
I think so. I mean, I think Sacramento, like if you let's just take away for the United States from now and just talk California. I've always said, I think it's the best bang for your buck in California. If you want the California lifestyles, seasons changing and all that stuff, I really do think that, Sacramento's got it. And I think that I think we're on the ground. Can you feel it? I mean, like the A's are coming in town. The Kings are doing good. I think really, really we're on the ground floor of like Sacramento kind of changing, and in a positive way. I think there's a lot of hate about Sacramento. And I get a lot of clients who like drive up and they're like, Sacramento. And then I show them places like Serrano or Folsom. And then they're like, oh, did not even think this. Or like we go to like Fab 40s and they're like, whoa, blown away. So I think that one is we're getting a lot of positive press. We're always on this good list, right? Oh, the top community, top area, top city, whatever. And I think that Sacramento with the new home buildings, Melrose aren't great, but they're putting together parks, schools, and everything too. I mean, we're in a building stage here in Sacramento, bringing a lot of commercial. So I do think that we're in a good spot for people who want to move in and maybe see their, appreciation going and be on the ground floor of something pretty amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think Sacramento's continued to grow, and even people that haven't been here in a decade are like, "Holy moly! Look at all this stuff that happened downtown." They moved the Kings Arena down there, and there's all this building going on. You can't go many places without seeing like tons of great new developments. Folsom for one, dude. Like I was in Rancho the other day and talking to somebody about all the building that's going on over in Rancho Cordova and Folsom, and builders build houses where people want to live. Like that's the trick. You want to know where people want to move to? Look at where they're building houses, because they're not gonna, builders are no dummies. If there's a Trader Joe's going in, that like they've done their research, and that's like a neighborhood that has good schools, and it's got like great trajectory when it comes to economics. And the same thing I think goes for home builders. Like, they're building homes in the path of progress where they know people want to live, and they've done the research. And so Sacramento surrounding, blowing up.
For me, if we got first comment, don't get me started on everyone leaving California. I've been hearing that since I was a kid. It's great living here. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is for all the people leaving California. If you need someone to sell your house, reach
MG in Vacafornia. I love the name, dude.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, for me, I'll be honest. If people are looking to move out of California, I think that one will help us with our resale inventory. But two, I'd be more than happy to list your house. And we might actually see you maybe in 3 to 4 years from now when you realize the humidity and like the stuff out there is a little bit much. So, like I said, I mean, I'm really, really, one, grateful for you guys tuning into the channel and being here. Grateful for Matt being on the show, but I'm also grateful for that I discovered Sacramento, that I decided to actually get out here and just to see what it was all about. And I fell in love with it. I didn't cater into the hate of Sacramento or California. I came out here and I was like blown away by like American River, Sacramento River, Folsom Lake, the hiking, the biking, the community vibe. The community vibe, people downplay that so much, but the community vibe here is so nice. And with a high level of a community vibe, your cost of living of going, hey, let's go to a restaurant or let's go to a movie, that kind of starts to go a little lower. You're like, well, we're going to have a barbecue at Bob's house. We're going to go over there. We'll pick up some salad and bring it over. Community vibe tends to make you kind of like all kind of potluck in and everything too. And I find myself that like maybe not like the gas, maybe not like the utilities or the, my cell phone or stuff like this, but for entertainment, unless you're going to a Kings game with Matt is like a season ticket holder, like I don't spend a whole lot. I mean, honestly, on going out, on doing stuff, I cook at home and I'm pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, well, I'm probably not as frugal as most, but I can tell you that the friends I do know who are Dave Ramsey aficionados, like there's so much recreation, there's so much stuff to do. My office is literally like right on the American River Parkway, so there's people on the trails every single day. I've got a good buddy of mine who just went up to Lake Natoma the other day and did some what's that called? Stand up like paddle boarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a lot to do. You know what I did last weekend? I went downtown and my 11-year-old wanted to mini golf and he wanted to check out a couple mini golf spots. And so we went like Tipsy Putt is right next to the arena. And that place was pretty cool. It was inexpensive. I think 4 of us mini golf for like $18. So super cheap. And then we went to Old Sac, and it's like being in Sacramento for 44 years. You forget about like these cool little hidden gems underground in downtown Sacramento. I think it's called Underground Golf. I think it's the name of it. You go down there and the guy's like, you want the story? You just want to get to golfing. I'm like, of course I want the story. So he tells us the story, and like paints the scene for 1849, like gold rush or something. And then like the whole downtown the underground mini golf has got this theme of like the gold rush. And so, I gotta remember and remind myself, like, this is a pretty cool place to live. And to your point, there's definitely things that don't cost as much money as Kings season tickets. Cause let me tell you, you think mortgages are expensive? Try holding Kings season tickets one year.
They're doing good. That's why they're giving them away when they're doing bad, huh? All right,
my gosh. And it's going to be the place to be. I guarantee you, like over the next few months, the tip off's in about a month. I think October 24th is opening night. Like you're going to go to Kings games. And like every time I go to one, I recognize dozens and dozens of people.
We treat our sport. We really treat our sports teams right here too, and I think people love that stuff too. I think the River Cats, the Kings, like the A's when they come, we're really like. It's funny because we're really like that kind of city that's like warm, welcome. Like we would love our sports. I mean, you're always doing something with your kids for sports as well too. It's a fun city to be in. Our Rob says, agreed. Sac is a nice spot. 100%. You can buy a very nice home in Sacramento area. I'll be up there Thanksgiving, visiting family, etc. We're going to look at a new build home again. Rob says, I left California, bought a nice Toll Brothers home in Las Vegas. We want to come back, and we will.
There's another left and coming back. We're going to get you back. While he's talking new builds, I was gonna run that by you, Mark, because I know, being a real estate agent who you do great in resale, but I think you more than most agents pay attention to new builds and have information on all these new builds. Like, where's the coolest new builds? Because I honestly am sitting in my office crunching numbers, and I'd never get to see the sun because I'm just mortgage nerd trapped in my office. I had a client tell me the other day about some development. I think it was an Antelope, but so many of these developments I know nothing about. Like, where's the development you're most excited about?
Oof. Okay, so Toll Brothers is going to be building, supposedly they're building these like in Roseville next. That's going to be a good one. New Home Company is opening up on Friday at a new development in Elk Grove that is going to be a packed house. I mean, Taylor Morrison's out there, and honestly, like, Beezer's okay, Tim Lewis did okay, but I think New Home Company with their floor plans are really going to kill it out there. So I'm looking forward to that one. What else? I love there's kind of like a boutique-ish, I guess you can call it, like West Sacramento. Like, they're building luxury homes on the water there that I really like. There's just so many. I mean, Folsom Ranch has got a good one. I think if it was me and I was looking for a home right now and I was saying to myself, I want to go to a home, and I want to buy it and I want it to make money for me, but I also want to enjoy the area. I will tell you the steal of a deal. If you guys are listening to me, Tri-Point Lariat and Canterley up in Folsom Ranch, right? They were not selling to investors, and now they are. They have like 12 homes remaining. They're in the 600s and low 700s. They're offering 6% of the price of the home to go towards closing costs, or buying down your rate, which is nuts. I mean, you can literally get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I think it's like around 1,700 square feet house for $615. Okay. Now here's what the guy told me. Make me an offer.
Wow.
Make me an offer. $615. I mean, like, most people may be watching this going, it's overpriced. If you guys know Folsom, if you go to the MLS, go to Zillow, go 3 and 2, look at that square footage and see what you find out there, and you'll find nothing. Tri-Point, this is the smoking deal. I mean, honestly, there's been a part of me, and I already talked to my wife. I'm like, let's buy this house, let's sit on it for 2 years, and then let's sell it. Because it's going to be like, if you buy it in $615, let's say you make an offer at $600, you take what, 6%? What's that, 35,000 or something like that, and you throw it into it, or 30, whatever, and then you buy down the rate and all that stuff too, and then you hold it for 2 years, boom. You probably make like 60, 70 grand on that. So for me, that's a deal. That's a deal of the century. And if people are like not seeing that, that's crazy. Not only that, you got a brand new elementary school in that area. They're going to be building another elementary school, another middle school, another high school. You're like 8 minutes from like Folsom High. You're like 12 minutes from Vista High. I mean, you're like right there in Folsom. So it's like, that would be the one that I'd be looking at straight up. Even if I wanted a bigger home. This is perfect for the people that might not even know Sacramento and say, look, I just want to get in there, figure out Sacramento and see where I want to move. Great. Buy this house, 2 years, sell it, and move to El Dorado Hills. Do whatever you want to do. But this is a smoking deal. I mean, straight up.
Those low 600s, what are they, like 3.2, 1,400 square feet or something?
3.2s, like, I think is like 1,650 or like 1,700 square feet. Tri-Point, already the upgrades are selected. Solar is leased. No land premiums, nothing. It's like out the door. And I think the 615 one, the 3 and 2 that's still there, it's like you could probably make them an offer like 600. And so you got a $600,000 house. You basically have 6% off that to do closing costs and buy down your rate. And then you just hold it for 2 years. And it's right now, the beautiful part is they were only selling to first-time home buyers. Now they opened it up to investors and to people who are looking for a second home. This community was on fire the first couple weekends because all the investors wanted in. There's nothing this low in Folsom Ranch, period. And even KB is more expensive than this. So this is the deal of the century. If people aren't going out there, if they're not calling me, then you guys are crazy. This is a great deal. And hopefully, even if you don't work with me, I'm just messing around. Hopefully, if you are looking for something and a great deal, like, you at least go over there and take a look at it, and make them an offer and see what you can do, because this is a great deal that you're probably not going to see anytime soon in Folsom Ranch again. So that's it.
All right. Hopefully
All right.
that fourplex I got listed in Marysville sells, and then I can just 1031 that money into a Folsom place.
Oh, you will love it. You will love it. Our Rob says, I let my toll brothers toll home go on fire sale to leave Vegas and come to California. LOL. Vegas is too brown. Miss the green. Exactly. I gotta say, like, you know, like the only area for me that's a little brown is probably Lincoln. For me, Lincoln is it needs a little bit more foliage, but everywhere else in Sacramento, I mean, you could find some really nice rolling hills. You can see views. You could be on the water. I mean, you got it kind of all here. And at the same time, like I said, a lot of the people who move here, it's not like, oh man, I can't wait to come to Sacramento for the nightlife. I'm going to go party all night long. It's more like, we're good. We're going to buy our Traeger. We're going in our backyard. We're having the family over. We're going to go to Costco and stock up. And that's kind of what we're going to do. And I think areas like the Bay Area, areas like the bigger cities, you know, the Chicagos and everything too, the second you leave the front door, it's like all of a sudden your money's shooting out your wallet. It's like boom, boom, taxis, like tolls, like this. And we don't have tolls here in Sacramento. That's another thing too. There's no tolls. There's no toll roads yet. Might happen in the future, but
Caltrans might be forever working on Highway 50, but at least there's no tolls, right? They're just working on it for nonstop.
The Bay Area, they're putting more toll roads in. Down in Southern California, they're doing the same thing. My brother-in-law went down there and he was doing a soccer tournament. He's like, man, I left the house and it was like tolls here, tolls there. He's like, I had to pay like 3 or 4 tolls by the time I got to the field for the soccer game. It was nuts. In Sacramento, we don't have the tolls.
That's crazy. Have you ever heard of this one? I heard, my mom retired, but she used to work for Caltrans, and they were piloting a program where they were going to charge you in California based on how many miles you drove. So it was kind of like a highway toll, but it was either based on like miles driven every year. I don't know who collected this, if it was like part of your like registration or your, like, I don't know what it was, but like that was going to be their way to like take this money to rebuild roads, which, geez Louise, dude, we got enough taxes in California.
If that happened, honestly, every single realtor would be out of business.
Yeah.
I'd be like, do you want to see the home? How serious are you about looking at that home?
Right. I got to pay 11 cents a mile for every mile I drive. So
But okay, so food wise, I mean, I'm kind of a Costco shopper. Everybody knows this on this channel. I go to Costco. Probably, you know, there's 3 of us here and we always have our family over too. I spend maybe like, I don't know, maybe like $400 every like week or 2, you know, on like maybe every 10 days at Costco, stocking up on some steaks and all that stuff too. Like, as far as you go, like as far as like groceries, if someone's coming out here to live in Sacramento, what do you think as far as a food budget you could get by on in Sacramento?
I feel like I am so far like on one side of this because I've got a 15 and 11-year-old. Have you ever had like 4 15-year-olds over to your house swimming? Like, these kids can eat $300 in groceries in a 2-hour time span. And so my wife's Costco as well. So we're big Costco, you know, and we're all about, what's that app called? Why can't I think of it? They deliver it to your house.
Really?
Oh my gosh, dude. If you're not on this was like one of the like greatest joys. Instacart. My wife will go to Instacart and Costco, Rayleigh's, Safeway, Trader Joe's. Dude, I'm telling you, like Home Depot and those places are on here now. Anything you want delivered, just like it was like, you know, a food delivery app. And sure, you pay a premium. I think you pay Instacart like $99 a year, but
yeah,
we'll go to Trader Joe's just for like old time's sake sometimes, just to be like, hey, let's go get some brown rice and some popsicles at Trader Joe's. Just to like, that's what you do in your 40s is like a date, right? Is you go to Trader Joe's. But I think we spend a lot on groceries, and my wife, who's the CEO of the Gouget Casa, she handles most of that stuff, but we're in the 4 figures for sure. And okay. I would say, you know, it's partly to do with the fact that our boys are growing. So we're never going to deny them, right? They're just going to get unlimited food for them and their friends. Cause we'll be the spot where people walk over after Little League practice or after a basketball game. I'll have all those teenage boys over jumping in the pool, and they'll go through all of the snacks in one afternoon.
Oh yeah. Dude, my daughter did the cutest thing ever. Like last weekend, she had a couple friends over after a soccer game, and her friend opened a drink and put it down, and then went to open another one. And she looked at her. She's like, "Finish your drink before you open up a new one." 8 years old. I'm like, ugh, score.
Yep.
Yeah, I was
right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I'd say okay if you're single and you're coming in here, I'd say like and you're not like someone going out all the time and everything too. I'd say like you probably get by on a couple $100 a week, and it won't be like, oh my God, I'm starving. It'll be like you're going to Trader Joe's or you're going to Costco and shopping, and you'll be okay with that. I'd say like I showed you a little bit earlier on the slide for gas prices. This is kind of what we're looking at, like at gas prices, over here, right now currently. So, a lot of people go get their gas at Costco as well too, which is nice. It's not,
you're showing people where to get the best prices.
Yeah, this is the best price. But I'd say Costco, you're around there probably. And look at these. You got to go cash.
Like a Chevron by my house. I think like on Sunday nights I'll go get gas in my car, my wife's car, so she doesn't have to like mess with it or go to like a sketchy gas station late at night. I swear we were like $5 at the Chevron by our house. Granted, Chevron, but dude, $4.29, $4.19. I'm with it, dude.
I'm with it too, man. I mean, so I would say this is kind of what you're looking at with gas. Now, here's the thing. This is really big to note. If you're coming from the Bay Area, right, and you're taking taxis and you're taking bus fares, you're going to be driving. But on the other side of that, there is going to be added maintenance probably to your car. You're going to be paying more for gas for sure. I mean, Sacramento definitely is like a driving city. It's not like, oh yeah, there's buses. Transportation is horrific in Sacramento. Just being honest, like straight up. You're Ubering it. I mean, maybe you take the rail, but like if for the most part, a lot of my clients are funny. They're like, wow, we just realized it. We don't see any buses. I'm like, pretty much. So it's like you are driving.
You know what's funny is I remember, going to these real estate meetings and going to these different like things that are talking about city planning and whatnot. I remember so many years ago, they were like talking about cable cars in downtown Sacramento. And they're like, we're going to do a river walk on the river. We're going to connect downtown to West Sacramento. There's gonna be cable cars going in between. I'm like, that sounds really cool. Is that like a 30 years from now project or what?
Yeah, well, Sacramento's notorious for that. They're like, we're going to do this, and then it disappears. And then it reappears every like 3 years. We're doing this, and then it kind of disappears. The only thing that I'm sure of is some of these new communities, like you mentioned, like Folsom Ranch, that recreation center, they're building 3 indoor hockey rinks. 3 of them. Oh, that's not cool. Just one, 3. So your boys are probably going to love that. But I would say, okay, for food, I'd say comparatively, if you live somewhere like in the Bay Area, because I used to live in the Bay Area, and that's kind of why I do the Pepsi Challenge there a lot. Like, it's just pricey. Whenever I go to the Bay Area, it's just pricey. North Beach Pizza, I think, is like $70 for pizza.
Wow.
It's like crazy.
V knows the hack. She put it up there, man. Grocery Outlet has good deals. Grocery Outlet, you feed yourself for 2 weeks on $85. So if you're balling on a budget, go do Grocery Outlet. I'd rather have you buy a home, let that home appreciate 6.9% a year in California, and maybe you have to rock some Grocery Outlet and cut in some other places because you're not going to get rich renting. I know that.
But here's the thing, though, too. I mean, in Sacramento, like in our area specifically, as far as entertainment, fun things to do, there's not like a huge amount of money. Like I remember in San Francisco, it was like anything we did there cost money. There wasn't anything that we didn't do. Even going to the park, it was like going to the park. Oh yeah, we're gonna buy this. We're gonna do this, and going there. Even like the farmers markets. I mean, leaving a farmers market in the Bay Area without spending at least $100 is like a hard thing to do. So for me here in Sacramento, it's like, yeah, go for a walk, grab your mountain bike, grab your paddleboard. You know what I mean? Like there are so many things to do here. Or movie night, right? Like it's the funnest thing in the world. Like these community areas, like Matt lives in one, I live in one. Sometimes there'll be a movie night in the park and you just show up with your picnic blanket. You got your groceries that you bought or whatever, and you just sit there and you watch the movie, and that's it. Concerts in the park as well too. Like, there's just a lot of free activities here that can keep you kind of occupied, right? Does it have the nightlife like San Francisco? Absolutely not. I mean, a majority of what we have here, except if you're in like Midtown in that area, is suburban. You know, shut it down at 9. Matt probably is just like me, where he's like one weekend, he's got like a lot of the family over. We're barbecuing, we're having fun, probably watching a movie, something new on Netflix, and we're just like living that kind of thing. But it's not like this urge to like, I need to go to the club, I need to stay there till 4 a.m, I need to do that. There's really not a lot of that in Sacramento. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, I think for me, especially in this season of life, it's all about, you know, family and whatnot. And so there's so many great neighborhoods to raise a family, which I think a lot of people, when they're looking at buying a home, that's the impetus for it, is like, you know, we're going to start a family, we're going to raise some kids, and you've got most of the things you would want, right? You've got good schools, you've got parks, you got recreation. And you mentioned the movies. We went and saw Beetlejuice 2 a couple weekends ago. Have you seen that yet?
No, I want to see that actually. I love holiday type movies.
Dude. So good.
And here's some of the pricing for our movies. So, you know, like I said, I think that like, I mean, honestly, like I'm pretty like, I'll date myself. Like, this stuff used to be like $4 or $5 when you go see movies. So anything more than that freaks me out. But yeah, movies are like, you know, I'd go to Tuesdays over at the Palladio, though they're like half price matinees, but movies are just movies, and they're expensive no matter where you go, no matter where you live. But this is kind of what you'd look at. But like I said, again, you know, for me, it's less about, how can I say it? It's less about these like how often do you go see a movie, Matt?
Probably every other month, you know, 5 or 6 times a year.
Okay. I remember living in the Bay Area, and I would see movies maybe like a new movie came out, let's go to the IMAX or something like this. I'd go there maybe like once every couple of weeks, maybe even more than that. You don't have that feeling that you need to go out, you know, like, oh my God. And I'll say something about that. I think also it's for the main concept that a lot of people are building a house that they don't want to leave. Like, they like their house. They're like, I got my pool, I got my barbecue, I got my big screen TV, I got my entertainment area. Everyone's coming over here. Like, I can hang out in my like comfy clothes, my flip flops, and I'm here and I'm living that, and I don't have to dress up in my skinny jeans and shoot off to the movie theater and hang out and then go to the like. We don't really have that here. You see what I mean?
Oh, 100%. It's, my wife was joking last week where our boys like just love to be at home. And so, you know, sometimes they'll even tell me like, Dad, like, just invite people over here for UFC. We'll just hang out here and, you know, pool and spa and TV. We got it all. And I think it's a good sign. But yeah, my 15-year-old's not interested in parties. He just wants to hang out at home, which I'll take it while I still got it.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, here's the thing though. My daughter's the same way. She's like, in the weekend, sometimes after a soccer game, she's like, I need my downtime, and she'll just sit there and we'll hang out. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I really do feel like the family vibe is here, and I don't think like you have that press. And I think also might have to do a little bit because living in the Bay Area, the square footage was smaller, right? I lived in Marin. Marin's a beautiful place. The house I grew up in was like, you know, the square footage was smaller. And there wasn't a lot of gathering spaces. The floor plans were a little awkward. So it wasn't really conducive to like, hey, everybody, let's come over to my house. It was more like, all right, if we're all going to get together, let's just go somewhere and do it. And so I think here, because the square footage you can get here is a lot more and it's more affordable than other areas like the Bay Area, you know, I think it really does make you say, I can have people over at my house. I can have people in the backyard. I can have people hanging out. I'm planning a Greek festival in my side yard. So like, you can do those things and you don't feel that need of like, you know, like being compacted. I remember living in the Bay Area and going to some friends of mine's houses for the holidays. And literally it was like cramped in a corner, walking 5 steps, getting a drink and just sitting there like this. And here it's like, no, we got formal dining room, open that up. And it's like you can do that. And it might sound like we're talking like, oh, you know, you got to spend a whole lot of money to do it. You really don't. Honestly, it's just that the house is here or more affordable. They're roomy, you know, and you can really do that. Like it's really like, for me, I always was kind of like, it was baffling me, like, why don't more people in the Bay Area have more get-togethers? And it was like, I talked to a friend of mine, you know, Sabo, who moved in, and he was like, you know, we had a condo in San Jose, you know, and it was the square footage, you know, wasn't
685
that.
square feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And he's like, now
not a lot of room
I
for
got
entertaining.
yeah, no, it's like 3,000 square feet. I got like 2 acres. I'm inviting people over all the time, and we're doing campouts and everything too. So I think that in Sacramento, you won't get that feeling of like, oh, we got to go spend money on a movie every weekend, or like, I got to entertain the kids. Because part of that is that too. Imagine this, like you're in like an area, like a city, right? And you got kids, and your kids are bouncing off the wall, and you don't have like areas for them to run, play, or everything too. Or let's say you need to clean the house, or let's say you need a business meeting. It's like, let's go out and let's do something today. Let's do it. You don't really have that here. It's like, you know what, tomorrow, let's just stay out by the pool. I'll grab some food, we'll barbecue, and we'll hang out outside. Do that. So that's kind of one of the things I like about Sacramento. You don't really need to, or feel that urge to spend money every 5 seconds. And like whenever I go to the Bay Area, it's like money is flying out. It's like toll, Golden Gate Bridge toll. I don't even know what that's at anymore. It's like $10 or something.
If I go to Walmart about it now, you don't even stop. They just take a picture of your license plate, then send you the $14 bill, right, for driving on their precious highway. Hey, you know what got my mind thinking? I love using this chance to question the guy who's out there, you know, checking out all this stuff. My biggest like negative for new home builds, because, you know, I'm in the business of getting people financing for homes. So I'm talking to people and I get this question like resale versus new build. And I'm like, listen, man, there's pros and cons to both. But the con that always got me and probably was the reason the wife and I never bought a new build is because most of these builders are trying to build as many homes as possible with the given 20 acres they have. So 4 feet in your backyard, 4 feet in your side yard, that's not it for the Gouget family. Is there any builders, Mark, that are like taking that into consideration? They're like, you know what? We're going to give people 8,500 square foot lots. We're going to give them a little bit, you know, of a backyard where like the neighbor can't see inside their shower while they're showering.
Oh,
More
yeah.
money?
But it costs, it's a premiums. Like, I mean, I've seen at Toll Brothers, like from some of their lot premiums, like $250,000. You know,
Woo!
Tim Lewis up in Magnolia, they're charging a lot for their lot premiums as well, too. If you want a bigger lot, that's what you got to pay. Now, some of the other builders like Richmond American, Taylor will have like 50-foot lots. Like I've seen one, a friend of mine got one up at Taylor Morrison, and he paid a little extra. He still kept it under $1 million. But you can definitely do that. You know, but you have to just be you got to know that a lot of people are looking for those lots, right? They want that. But the biggest thing here is, I mean, this is the biggest crux, I guess you could say, of our market at this point, is that like, even though we're like in like 5 territory, right? Like if you look at a person who got a 2.75, it's still, you know, I call it the 3 Ds. All I'm seeing out there for listing is departing the state, divorcing, and death. Those are the 3. You talk to a lot of people who have 2.75s and they're like, I'm not moving. I'm not even moving, not even considering it. Don't even talk to me. So it's like, it's just that type of thing where it's still like, I think a lot of people would love to see resale inventory that they liked. They're just not seeing a lot of it right now. They're seeing a lot of stuff that's like retreaded out there. There's people moving around photos. And just a lot of people, I think, are just not seeing what they want to see. And I think that when they do see it, a million other people jump on it. And so I think it's a little bit of a frustrating market in the resale. And then they sashay over to like, you know, Toll Brothers, and they see this sparkly pool in the backyard that costs maybe $250,000 to put in. These amazing upgrades are, and they're like, okay. And then they come up to you and say, how would you like a 3.5 interest rate? What? This cannot be true. And then they're there. And I mean, imagine like the situation where you could actually go into a new home builder and basically buy a house. No offerings, no like this, no buyer brokers, nothing. Just boom. I want that house. I want it in blue. Here we go. And you're good. So
yeah, I mean they're solving a couple of the big headaches for buyers. Affordability. Mm-hmm. They solve it with you know, concessions to buy the rate down and specials there. And like the competitiveness that is a market with low inventory, they go, yeah, you're not competing against 15 offers. we've got a price we want. If you're willing to pay it, let's do business. And so you're right in that regard. And dude, I saw a picture. I don't know if you saw this. Placer County Association of Realtors, they hold their weekly meeting. And like most of these association meetings, at the end, they save time for people to share the listings they have and then do a quote unquote tour. You know how many houses were on tour at PCAR last meeting they had?
How many?
0.
Really?
0, dude. And like, I have a client who's looking in Roseville. You know, for people listening, it doesn't mean there's no houses for sale in Roseville. It means for like this group of agents that got together for this meeting, they didn't have any listings that they added to tour. But it's kind of like a scary sign of the times where, like you said, sellers aren't listing. You know, they got a 2.75. They're going to like find a way to make it work. I'm sure they got 4 bedrooms and 3 kids, but it's just, it doesn't make sense for them to upgrade. And so it'll be interesting to see, you know, if we get 5.5, 5.25 interest rates by next summer, that's going to mean you're probably going to be able to spend some money to buy it down to 4.5 or buy it down to 4.75. Like, will that be enough for some people? And I know the answer. The answer is yes, right? There's going to be some people with the pain of going into a higher mortgage is not as big of the pain as 6 people in a 3-bedroom house, right? Or whatever that trade-off is that they're, you know, holding back for one reason or another. And so hopefully next summer, man, we see a little bit of movement with resale homes just because that spread gets lessened, right? 275 to 775, crazy. People are like, I'm not tripling my mortgage. You lost your mind. But
I
if
mean,
I say, hey,
yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, yeah, a 1.6 of your current mortgage to do your upgrade, you might do that. The tripling, people aren't down for that.
No, I mean, there is, like I said, like I'd say like within the last couple of years, we've seen numbers move markets. That's it. Numbers, big old numbers, they move markets. And that's, you know, there's going to be a number that's going to do it. I don't know what that number is going to be. I mean, right now at Coldwell, you know, like we had our meeting and I wasn't there, but a lot of people were like, things are sitting. Things are sitting. They are not moving. And for me, I was like, this is interesting. Because I was thinking, okay, the interest rates are coming down. But, I mean, we have big factors, you know, recession, election. We have a big idea of people going like, I know rates are going back down to 2.75. I'm waiting it out. You have all these like mixed kind of emotions happening. And I think you have a lot of people that are just kind of like, I think mainly you have a lot of people a lot of buyers specifically that just feel beat up. I think they just feel beat up, and I get it. You know, I think buyers have gotten the bad end of the stick for a while, and I think they just feel beat up, and a lot of them are like, huh. And I do think also, one last thing, and I was thinking about this, is I do think that buyers right now have a certain amount of money to either enjoy the holidays or to put it towards a house. And they're debating on what to do right now. They're going, do we just forget it and wait till the end next year, or do we just jump in and maybe do it? And I think that there's that little push and pull. And I think the people who are thinking, I'm not buying now, we're going to enjoy the holiday seasons, are winning right now, because I did think the market would be a little bit more jumpy now, and it's a little slow. So
yeah, you know, you're 100% right too. And you know, I mentioned the numbers earlier. We've gone from mid 7s to low 6s, and you know, so we've gone down last 4 or 5 months 1.5% in rate. And that's huge. You know, for somebody buying a $500,000 house, it's probably $450 a month. That, you know, difference in rate. But on this post, I think it was an agent or somebody said something to the effect of, now we need mortgage rates to go down so that people get out there and buy. And I'm like, mortgage rates down already happened. And to your point, Mark, it's good for me and you as professionals in the business, to be honest. It hasn't caused, you know, this big, you know, race to the market like some of us might have thought. And, you know, you're probably right. There's probably holidays, economic uncertainty. I think too that people say, you know what, we've got an election 45 days away. Let's wait and see what happens to that. I mean, some people admit it. Some people don't. Some people will just be like, you know what? I don't know, like, if the election's going to affect my industry, my income, the economy, the housing market. So I'll just wait. What could end up happening for some people that wait is like, oh shoot. Well, while everyone was standing still on the sidelines and things were sitting, like you said, for 65 days, I could have gone out and got a deal. Being able to put in offers, like, dude, the fourplex that I currently have for sale, my agent like 2 months ago was talking about putting it on at 540. I was like, I don't know. It's probably like 5.25. Long story short, dude, like it's been on the market for 60 days. Whoever buys that is going to get a deal, right? If I let it go for 480 or 485, just because like current needs of me and my family and my finances, like we're going to, sell that thing with a ton of equity and roll it into some other things. Maybe that tri-point lariat you were talking about, but
I got one for you. If you guys want me to go out and video this fourplex for you guys and put it on this channel, like this video and put some comments in, and I'll beg Matt on hands and knees, let me video this fourplex, because I've never done a fourplex on this channel. I always thought that kind of be interesting, especially if you run some numbers and figure out what that's going to do for people. So if you guys want to, I will be more than happy to go out and do the fourplex video. That'll be fun.
That'd be fun, man. We could market it, because it's been a great investment for the wife and I, and it's done well. A lot of people talk about, what do they call it? Just either capital reallocation or something. I've got so much equity in this darn thing that's somewhat trapped. Like you could do investment property HELOC, or you could do a cash out, but I think like I'm just going to sell and redeploy by getting rid of it. Like I ran the numbers for an investor, sub 500 grand. Like we talked about, you can't buy a single family in Sac for that. And this thing generates like $4,000 a month in rental income between the 4 units. I think 30% down, your payment's going to be like 26 or 2,700 bucks a month. This thing could really crush for somebody. So yeah, I'll see what we got. We got some showings this past weekend, and if we don't have any offers in hand by the end of the week, we might have Mark McDonough and the video team out there filming it.
We already got a first comment that said I would like that.
Yep. See?
Hey, we've sold 8 houses so far with YouTube videos. We could do it again. So okay,
I believe in
so if you guys
brother.
want to do the video, we'll get Matt to okay it if Friday or the weekend doesn't work. But if you guys want to see a fourplex that generates good income on this, and even had Matt in the video with me, just let me know. If you guys are enjoying this broadcast too with Matt, the mortgage guy, you should definitely check out his channel. I'll link it below in the description. All that stuff too. Please do. He's an awesome guy as well too. Let's get some of these questions too. Vlad says grocery outlet. We hit that before. Love this spot. YouTuber Michael Bordeno was shocked that Bay Area people are paying $1 million for a 100-year-old house. It's a market
too, man.
Yeah. That's what it costs to live there. What do you expect? It is crazy. I mean, the price there. I talked to a lot of people from like the San Jose area too, and what they're paying over there too. And here's the thing. I always look at San Francisco, the Bay Area, kind of that area, the San Francisco spot, and I go like, it's pretty. I think it's pretty. San Jose just never had a good appeal to me. I just don't. I mean, I get it, Silicon Valley. Don't get me wrong, expensive real estate. I've always driven by there, and I've just been utterly not impressed with San Jose. I'm like, I get you're living there to work, but it's just not really an impressive city to me. How about you?
You're a San Francisco over San Jose type of guy?
I think San Francisco, you got the water, you got like this Giants, McCovey Cove. I think you got like good food stuff. You got like North Beach, you got like Chinatown, you got the Haight, you got the Mission District. I think there's so much fun and there's so much stuff going on in San Francisco, like that I had a lot of fun. I spent a whole lot of money there that I'm grateful that I'm not spending anymore, because I'd be living in like my wife and I would be living in we got our studio apartment we're renting for $6,000 a month, but no. What are you? Are you more San Jose?
You know what? I haven't spent a ton of time in either place to really have a favorite. Last time I was in the Bay Area, I was actually like, oh man, this is kind of fun. We did, not last year, but the year before, we did a Mother's Day cruise.
Okay.
In the Bay. That was friggin' cool, dude. Like this huge, probably held 600 people, had 3 stories of buffets, dancing, music. It was really cool. And my boys went and Pier 39, all that stuff. So yeah, I guess San Francisco, I kind of like it. Bay Area, my experience there is Bay 101 and the different card rooms. Me and my wife love to play us some poker. And
Okay.
so haven't spent a ton of time in San Jose, but one thing I'll say for people that are living there, as much as I joke and I'm like, why would someone pay 1.8 million for 1,100 square feet? When I look at the finances of some of these companies and some of these folks in tech that are making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a year as senior engineers, then it makes more sense that you can have a $1.8 million home and not necessarily sweat it, because their incomes are certainly great for those people in those tech
Yeah.
sector jobs.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I haven't spent too much time in San Jose, but every time I've gone there, I've just been like, eh. Like the Bay Area I grew up in. I lived in San Francisco for 7 years, so I saw it be fun. Although I will be honest with you, like, I went to Pier 39 last time I was in San Francisco with my daughter. Parking, like, it's just, I should have known better not to go there, but she wanted to see sea lions. Parking was horrific. It was like this, and I was like, oh, why did I do? Like, everywhere in the Bay Area that's like fun is like this. It's not like it's just like this. I went to California, I think it was Academy of Science. It was like this. It was like everywhere is like that. I was in Golden Gate Park waiting for parking, and we got so lucky someone pulled out, or else we would have been waiting for parking in the museum area for like easily 2 hours. No, not my thing, man. I was jonesing to get back to Sacramento. I was like, I like it. I can park when I go places and everything too. So, okay, so we got Beetlejuice with a 6.5. I got to see Beetlejuice, definitely.
I'm telling you, that's Rob is selling it short, man. It was really cool for an 80s kid because there's so much reference to the first movie. Even someone like me who doesn't remember movies that well, like, I still was like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that. And I think it was really well done. It was entertaining enough for the kids who wouldn't get all the original Beetlejuice references, and great for mom and dad too, who were like, really appreciative of some of the throwback, reference to the OG Beetlejuice.
Now, do you have to see the first one to see the second one? Is it like that whole, like, you got to do no?
I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, you still enjoy the second one, but I could not, if you told me to tell you anything about the first one, I would fail at that. And I still enjoy the second one, but like, there's some part buried deep in your brain where you remember, like, oh yeah, that was part of the first one. And then, yeah, I had luckily my wife there to remind me like some of the references.
I love it. All right. Well, okay. So let's get some of these. Sacramento sounds like the perfect place for homebody. I think unless you live somewhere like the Midtowns or the Land Park, East Sacramento, still there's a lot of homebodies there. I think one of the reasons why I think Sacramento is very suburban friendly, community vibe. People like just relaxing in. The lifestyle is very, very relaxed here. I don't feel that stress I felt in the Bay Area. So I think that also adds to the idea that you're not feeling that like itch to go out, or like, I need to hit that new restaurant. It just opened up. We put our name on the list 3 years ago and we finally got in, and now we're going to spend like $2,000. It's just, you don't have that here. It's very much like, I mean, you can find those restaurants like the Kitchen and everything too, but those are more like, a special occasion, as in like where you live in big cities, you're doing that almost every weekend. So, and taxis, we use Ubers now and again, but everyone drives, and parking is kind of relaxed in Sacramento as well too. So it's mainly like, I'd say the big expenses in Sacramento, probably like gas. I don't know what else. I mean, probably like the weekly grocery bills. I would say for utilities, the average for SMUD is $206. Gas is $54, water $66. So it's not like crazy pricing. I mean, probably for the Midwest, it might seem that way. What do you think for homebodies? I mean, that kind of helps you keep the expenses down, no?
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, it's not a crazy fast paced, place where you could get, plenty of joy hanging out on the house. I'm still stuck, dude, on 206 is the average for SMUD. Cause I feel blessed to have SMUD and not be in an area that's got PG&E, because I've heard how crazy those bills are, but maybe it's cause it's like 100 degrees still and almost October. Maybe that's why my
Yeah.
SMUD bill is so high. But what's going on, dude?
I don't know. I think it's getting a little more price. I mean, nothing compared to PG&E. Like when we say SMUD, also for you people who might not know, it's a Sacramento Municipal Utility District. It's like half the price of PG&E. It's in Sacramento County, and so like it's not bad. I mean, we don't have those brownouts, and it's relatively inexpensive as well too, comparatively towards PG&E. So that's kind of a good thing if you move into Sac County. But as far as utilities go, I mean, you can keep it down. I mean, maybe the watering, for water at times during the summertime, refill the pool, but it's not out of control. I'd say like for me, I have like 3 cell phones. My wife, 3 of them. So I pay maybe a cell phone bill of like maybe $90 a month. I'd say for like internet, and I got like channels and everything too, which I don't need, but we entertain a lot. And I have high speed for this whole thing that I do. Probably about maybe like, I'd say like, I think $215 a month. I mean, so that's kind of what I look at. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I guess people are going to be afraid of insurance costs, but insurance is leveled out, dude. Insurance has kind of chilled out. And if you're not out in a fire area, your insurance is okay. My house built in 1980. My insurance has gone up. I think it's still sub 2,000 for the year, which to me feels relatively inexpensive. I forgot to mention it earlier, but you talked about like different places across the country, less trees, more natural disasters. 2 weeks ago, I was flying to New Orleans for a conference. What was the name of it? Whatever the hurricane was that was coming through New Orleans, I was flying literally the Wednesday that it was landing in New Orleans. So flew to Atlanta, had to stay in Atlanta Wednesday night before I flew in. Was it Francis? Was it Hurricane Francis? Might have been that. But you forget living in a place like California about like how much that stuff happens. And no wonder their insurance costs are crazy, because the houses fall apart every 10 years and the roof blows off with these natural disasters. But I've seen crazy insurance premiums, and property taxes in California at 1.25% are relatively low compared to like the national average. Texas is crazy. New Jersey is crazy. All those places where it's like 2 or 3%, they can reassess it every couple years versus, you get in California, you buy a $500,000 house, 1.25% property tax is, let's see, $520-ish a month, and it stays relatively flat. You can't double it like some of these other states where it gets reassessed because of is it Prop 13? Is that the rule that keeps them low and only goes up 2% a year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Actually, I think Rob mentioned something also. He was talking about Prop 13. He needs it to move back to Cali.
Yeah. Come on back, Rob. We got you, buddy. We're building homes. We're trying to make more of them.
The other thing too, one thing to keep into account as well too, is the idea that because we are somewhat of a dry climate, we have our humid days, but nothing like comparatively like towards Atlanta or some parts of like Texas and everything too, or Florida. Like humidity does take its toll on houses. People don't realize that, as far as like, as far as like painting the house, as far as like the wear and tear, as far as dry rot as well too. Like there's a lot of maintenance that goes into a humid. I used to live in an area where there's high humidity, and it was like I'd always see the humidity stains, and you'd have to kind of repaint and everything too. Here, it's not. I mean, for maintenance of the house, you have some dry rot here and there, but for the most part, it's not out of control stuff, right? If you keep a good maintenance on your house, pests and everything too. Maybe spend about, I don't know, maintaining your house. If you have just like a 3-2 standard house, maintenance on it, maybe, I don't know, maybe like $50 a month, maybe max. I mean, just maybe if you're like, living La Vida Loca or something, but it's not too much. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think maintenance. I mean, maintenance, my house, I maintain my house pretty much myself. I do my pool, my gardening, everything too. I hit Home Depot maybe once a month, and I'll spend maybe $40 maybe or so on stuff. And I do most of the other stuff too. So no, it's not really that much to maintain, but I know in humidity, it's brutal for like repainting, for dry rot and stuff like that. All right. What's called 4 point. I don't have a lawn. I actually took out the grass and I put in stamped concrete on one side. I didn't go for the turf because me being the total, like I was like, I'm going to put in turf. And my contractor's like, turf is the most expensive thing. I'm like, all right, then I'm going to go pavers. Pavers are the second most expensive thing. I'm like, how about concrete? Ding, 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 ding. I'm like, we're doing concrete. So we put some nice stamped concrete surrounded by some white rock, and it was like low maintenance. And now I don't really have to worry about it that much too. So for me, there's things you can do to keep that kind of low. And I thought my daughter would enjoy the grass, and she didn't really enjoy it. So I was like, all right, it's there. I wanted something that's low maintenance, and we did that. So It worked. All right, so we got this. We got crowd control. So 4.9 be pretty sweet, but not holding my breath. What do you think?
4.9 for rates to get that low, it's going to take one, some time, and two, some major things happen in the economy, because that would mean like the Fed cuts 15 times in the next 15 months or something. So I think crowd control is smart to not hold your breath, but like I said, you get to the mid fives by Q3 or Q4 of next year. 4.9 is close enough to where if you want it, you can go get it. And depending on how things shake out, like you talked about, if a home's sitting on the market, like that to me just screams, we're ripe for negotiations. Part of that negotiation is, hey, listen, I'm willing to pay $600 for that house, but I'd like $15,000 in seller credit. That seller credit's going to allow me to buy the rate down. If the par rate is 5.5, Q3 of next year, and you negotiate yourself a $15,000 credit, I would guess that $15,000 credit can buy you into the fours. And, it might be right now, you're not doing these huge rate buy downs because you see the trajectory of interest rates. But once rates kind of settle and somebody's like, this is the house I'm going to live in for the next 5, 7, 10 years, then you go ahead and you do a permanent buy down. And, as much as some mortgage professionals might advise differently because they want to do 3 refinances for somebody in the same 5-year span. If somebody's in a position to buy down a rate, they know they're going to hold onto this mortgage for 5, 7, 10 years. And so the break even is going to be hit, set it and forget it. I had a client who I talked to recently that, bought an investment property. We're able to buy the rate down to, I think, like a 5.99. And I'm like, that's a set it and forget it type rate. I can't imagine, investment property rates going significantly lower than that, where you're going to like be worried about like, man, I'm not in the best mortgage for me. So buy it down to 5.99, set it and forget it. Be on your way. So yeah, with all that being said, like 4.99 seems years away, but it might possibly be here in 2025 for a price.
I hope so. I mean, it'd be nice. I mean, it's something in the fours. Oof. I think that'd be pretty. All right, Rob says, yes, Prop 13. Okay, I'm sending positive vibes so they don't mess with Prop 13. Positive vibes, Rob. We want to get you here in California.
Vibes. Yeah, don't mess with our poor Prop 13. Yeah, for anybody listening, like it's one of the things that California does right. We get a bunch of slack for all the things we do wrong. How's this? Like your property taxes can't go up by more than 2% a year, which means grandma bought a house in 1967. Her property taxes, which back then were only $350 a year, have only been able to go up incrementally. So now, 60 years later, she's got a $600,000 house and property taxes are only $800 a year. It's a great thing about holding on to real estate long term. When you buy a place in California, you can rough guesstimate 1.25 as the property tax kind of factor. And so $500,000 house, multiply that by 1.25, that's $6,250 a year. If you divide that by 12, I think I did the math earlier. I think it's $520 or so on your monthly payment that goes into escrow for taxes. You can hold on to that home, and even when it's worth $1.7 million 25 years from now, have a property tax bill that's pretty close. It only goes up incrementally every year, which people are like, that sounds great, but why is it so great? Well, buy a house in Texas in 2019, see that it's worth double in 2024. Your property taxes doubled. They went up in California by 6 or 7% over that 5-year span. They doubled in Texas. I'm pretty sure.
Ouch.
that it's every 2 years. They just reassess.
That's an ouch.
That hurts. Yeah. Big
All right.
houses, big taxes.
I know those mega mansions over there. All right, so we got Vlad says I'd like that. Who wants to see the video of the fourplex? We got
All
Crowd
right.
Control says the return is solid. Wonder why it's not moving. I'd probably say because it's not a YouTube video, but that's just me and my biased opinion. But it could be on YouTube sooner than later, so we might see that. All right, Crowd Control says
found the right owner yet.
It's also, I mean, here's the thing. It's nothing against anyone, anything. It's just that this market is kind of this way right now. People are here's the thing. You'll probably notice this too, Matt. You probably saw a bunch of people who are getting pre-approved, tons of people, but they got pre-approved and they jump back on the fence. They got pre-approved. They're like, okay, I'm ready to go, but I'm still waiting around. So it just is that type of market. And it's just things that should be selling are not. And it's weird. And a lot of like hype about it. It just is the way it is. Like Matt's like, I could poke out a bunch of real estate right now that should be selling like this, and it's not. It's a very odd market. Our Crowd Control says Sacramento. Yeah, God, I gotta learn how to talk right one day. Sacramento is definitely a contender to retire. May need solar to seal the deal in El Dorado Hills or Grant Bay. Yeah, by that time though, it's so much easier to find houses with solar now. It's just getting easier. You know what I mean? Like it's just because of 2019, you had to put like solar on new homes and everything too. And also a lot of people with the PG&E, they're sick of it. And a lot of people, one of the first things they do when they buy a house without solar, they'll put solar on, especially with PG&E. All right, there we go. We got BG. I moved from San Jose to Sacramento early 2021 and locked in a whopping 2.75. Best decision I ever made. You know what, Matt? I'm gonna retire early. I'm gonna create these T-shirts. They're gonna say, "I locked in a 2.75 interest rate. If you're a realtor, leave me the heck alone." I'm gonna retire with those T-shirts, man. Yeah, no, it is. A lot of people are singing that same song, 2.75. I'm good. And even though maybe I don't have the exact house I want, like I'm good. All right. Rob says, "What's your thoughts on the new home company in Roseville? I believe it's called The Trails. They were just starting those when we were originally looking up there. New home company, The Trails. I think it's new home company is an interesting one. About maybe like they're like a builder that." How can I say this? Like they can build in all different areas. Like they can go bougie, like luxury building. They can go kind of mid. I think New Home Company is putting out a good product now. I don't think they were putting out the most fantastic product because I've heard about this one lady I met over at Whitehawk. She was like, I got a New Home Company house, and it was a luxury home. And she's like, all the pipes were run in my roof. And so she was like, it was horrific, and that's why I'm selling my house. But that was a long time ago, and I think New Home Company has come into their own. I think Roseville, though, you're going to have a lot of competition in Roseville, and I think Toll Brothers is going to be building in Roseville as well, too. So I do think New Home Company in Roseville has good floor plans. I liked what they were doing over in Rockland at Rockland Meadows. I think what they're going to do in Elk Grove is pretty good, too. So I think they do have a very solid product. I like their floor plans. I don't know right now what the current pricing is over there, but I do think that as far as like build quality goes, they're maybe just under Taylor Morrison. I'd probably put them maybe kind of like neck and neck with maybe like a Tim Lewis at this point. So I think they're a good quality, I think, as far as that goes. But again, you have to understand one thing about new homes is that like the same build crew that's going to be building in Rockland isn't going to be building in Elk Grove or in Roseville. One of the things that I'm telling a lot of my new home people is basically talk to the superintendent. Figure out who your superintendent is going to be. That's going to give you a good guide to how he does direct traffic, how he does everything. If he's got a good track record, I'd feel a lot more comfortable buying with a builder. So that would be my 2 cents on that one. But New Home Company overall, I haven't heard anyone complaining except for this lady who bought like 7 years ago or something with them in Granite Bay. She's selling her house for $2.4 million. Crazy. Okay, so let's go into some fun stuff, some listings, and let's answer some questions. It'll be fun, Matt. Thanks for coming on board too,
man. All this real estate talk. I want to see some real estate.
Let's do it. All right, so we got this one. We got Rob says, "Thanks, Mark." Yeah, no problem, Rob. And if you want to, like, I'm here for you. Anything you need. All right. So this is our Pilot Hill listing we put up. We've already been getting a lot of bites from it. Crazy part about this is the home insurance on this thing right now currently is under $2,500 a year. And it's located on Pilot Hill. It has like the main house, which is a 3-and-3. It has a guest house, which is a 1-and-1 guest cottage, which is beautiful, and a workshop. It's on 40 acres, views of Folsom Lake. We have a few interested parties right now too, so hopefully this thing will be gone relatively soon. But it is gorgeous. If you guys are looking for something that's kind of like this, compoundy, high on a hill, you can bring in mom, you can have events, you can do, or you can have a couple Airbnbs, and you want pretty much the lowest home insurance, like this is the spot for you. So definitely call us up, let us show you it. It's a beautiful, beautiful property. The next one we got is Gold River Promontory. We had this thing, we just dropped it 24K or pretty much close to 25, 625. Honestly, if you look at the comps in the area, you like to look at the price per square footage for the type of home you're getting, there's nothing in Gold River that beats it, period. And you're buying a house in a community that is the only community in Gold River that has its own pool and a tennis court. So it's beautiful. I don't know. We'll get into more real estate, but let's see Sydney. We have now a new feature going on right now, which is basically we're running a ad for a friend of mine named Sydney who has a house for sale. It's on the golf course in Elk Grove. And what do you say, Matt? Let's do it?
Let's do it.
All right, we're taking a minute break to see this ad. Sydney's house. It's going to be cool.
All right, how's everybody doing today? Sydney Porrance, Coldwell Banker. I'm here to tell you about a very unique property in Elk Grove, 4874 St. Augustine Drive. This property is located on the 18th tee box of Valley High Country Club. Really want to promote this listing with Mark today because it's a great property if you're coming in from the Bay, very interested in a contemporary or mid-century modern property. I think this would be a great opportunity for somebody for who's local, loves golf, mid-century modern. This house is over 2,700 square feet. All right, it has a 3-bedroom with a 4th bedroom possibility of a bonus room upstairs, which could be a master suite. There's also a master suite downstairs. Okay, for those people who are looking to have lower level bathrooms, downstairs master suite, total of 3 bedrooms with an amazing updated kitchen. All right, and it's got that really cool mid-century modern feel in the living room as well as the kitchen area. But it's been updated in 2017 with huge update by Curtis Pop, who's a local person here. So whether you're a mid-century modern enthusiast, okay, you're into golf, just like I've been on the show before with Mark, really into Valley High Country Club, which will be right in your backyard. This is a great property for you. One other thing I'd like to add in Elk Grove, they're putting in a new Dignity Health medical office. They're in their first phase. So any docs out there, this would be a great property for you to be that. So 4874 St. Augustine, we're listed at $1,099,000, which is a great price for somebody coming from the Bay who's interested in those small homes that are $1.3 million to $2 million, just under $1.1 million. Great listing. Glad I can have it on your show, Mark.
Another great listing that for the most part is just not moving, and it should be. Great house, Elk Grove, mid-century. You don't see too many of those right on the golf course. I don't know why it's not moving, but it's just not.
Buyers have pressed pause, man. That's all it is. I feel that, dude, and it's one of those things where, to your point, pre-approved, excited, we slap them into our system and they press pause, right? It's either for timing for their family or because they want to see how the election shakes out, whatever. Who knows? But it's the general sentiment. It'll be interesting to see, Mark. Like, imagine what happens if elections behind us, people don't have these reasons to kind of stay still anymore. Like, there's a good amount of sidelined demand that could strike at any time. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens when these buyers decide to get in the game. Because you're right, like a house like that, affordable, great location on you say the 18th hole of Valley High Country Club. It's a nice golf course.
Yeah.
So that thing should be selling.
Yeah, and the reason why I also want to bring on that listing is I want to show you some of these things that are just like great houses, you know. So if you guys want to live on the golf course, if you want something amazing, mid-century modern, slick, I love this house. So hopefully you guys like that. All right, I'm gonna bring Matt for doing some questions.
6.25.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, what was that?
I wanted to plug in like 6.25, 5% down, 5.99 rate.
Hit
Your
me.
payment's about $4,400. You got 10% to put down. Then your payment's going to be, and we're talking principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, down to about $4,200. If you've got 20%, and remember, it can be a gift from a family member. Remind your parents they can't take it with them. If you've got 20% down, 625, 5.99 interest rate, principal, interest, tax, insurance, it's probably about $3,700 a month. And so, yeah, have the 18th hole of Valley High Country Club as your backyard. I like throwing out the numbers because I think people, in my experience, don't do that enough. Go get yourself pre-approved, analyze the numbers, know what you can afford, so that then when you walk in that place and you're like trying to sell your wife on why you guys should live on the 18th hole of a golf course, you know, you're like, honey, I did the homework. I know, like, we're still going to be able to keep DirecTV, all your Bravo shows, Dancing with the Stars. You're going to get that. That's the reason why I'm buying this house with this nice master bedroom. Really, you're just trying to justify living on the 18th hole of the golf course. But yeah, know your numbers. That's the take from Mr. Matt, the mortgage guy.
Nah, I like that. And also imagine that house somewhere in the Bay Area. I mean, seriously, that's just crazy. So like I said, guys, hopefully you guys you're enjoying the live broadcast. If you have enjoyed Matt, smash the like button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We're going to answer some of your questions that have come in through the channel during the week, and we'll bring Matt along this journey, and you'll probably, hopefully start implementing on his YouTube live as well too. This is the fun stuff.
Yeah,
you ready for this, Matt?
I was going to say real quick, if you go to Matt the Mortgage Guy on YouTube, I got 1,200 videos. So there's probably one you like, right? You got to find one you like. Comment on there, you know, came from Mark McDonough, and to your point, Mark, fire questions away, because I look at the comments all the time. It's like my downtime, and I've got it connected to my email. So I'm looking at these questions. Somebody fires a question. I'm answering questions about an escrow video I made 5 years ago, because I love the interaction. I love that people take their time to actually watch my stuff. So test me. Go over there and make a comment, say you came from this channel, and see if I respond back to you.
All right. I love it. I definitely will. Okay, so we got a question here. Hey, Mark, I noticed the Rancho video was a bit shorter than the others. We didn't get a chance to go over the different builders out there and what they offer. All right, and that's why I said we're going to do a part 2. I want to kind of go into the Rancho builders because there's a lot of them. I also want to do a part 1 and part 2. That won't be the last Rancho video I do, but I love the idea of doing I'll maybe jump in and just talk a little new homes with it. So this is what I want, though, honestly. I want you guys to tell me what videos you want me to do. Like, this is perfect because now it gives me some criticism as far as like what I should be doing. Not criticism, but it gives me some feedback on what you guys want. And this channel is for you. I'm always out there looking around new homes, looking at all this stuff too. So I want to basically do content that you guys really want to see. Like, that's my main goal in this channel. So that comment alone got me motivated to basically get out there and do this part 2 about the new home stuff and bring you like Cahove versus Pulte versus Woodside. And I know them all, versus Richmond versus Tri-Point. I will be doing that next video. Then give me about 10 days and I'll have that up on the channel just for you guys. All right. Jen G said he did mention part 2 for Rancho. Absolutely. Rancho is an interesting one. We got some stuff going on in Rancho too later on, as far as interesting stuff. So stay tuned right here. I got a Rancho thing that'll even blow Matt away. Beezer's got going there too. Yeah, they definitely do. Nice home. I know, Rob. We gotta get you a house on the golf course. Okay, so let's get into some questions. Some of them are zany, some of them are fun. This is the kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. Can you include HOA and Melrose? I will include HOAs and I'll include Melrose of every single builder out there as well, too, for you guys. So we know exactly what we're talking about. Expect the video within 10 days. I'm even writing this on my piece of paper, so I'll make sure to bring it to you. I promise within 10 days, it'll be on the channel. Boom. Okay, so we got brand new construction in Roseville. Who wants to move to California? Communist state. Rules, regulation, and taxes are beyond extreme. I totally, I love the whole freedom of expression, freedom of speech and everything too. But once again, I'll reiterate, if you are selling your home and leaving California, reach out. We could totally sell your house on YouTube. Other than that, my goal is always like, find the place you feel comfortable living. Maybe California isn't it for you, but it is a fantastic place to live for other people. I wish that to anyone. Find the place that makes you feel like it's home. Don't you think, Matt?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is, there's going to be people that love it, hate it, indifferent. If it's the worst place in the world to live, pack your bags, call Mark and his team.
We'll sell it for you. MG says, okay, this is actually I think this is a fantastic comeback. California's communist. If it was communist, the state would give us a home for free. That could be the comment of the night. MG, I love it. All right, next one. Boom. What a Toll Brothers home looks like in Folsom, California. I actually saw a similar dining room table hanging lights at Lamp Plus in Citrus Heights. I was shopping for lights to replace 30-year-old granny fan light. I went over to a certain area and they had a hanging ring pendant light. I thought this is perfect for modernize a space. I'm glad to see it in action here. I think it was on sale for $300, saving up some money to blow it out cabinet countertops and add my own condo. But it sells. Hey, I'll tell you something. Good lighting in a house, good staging in a house sells. It moves houses. Don't you think, Matt?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And, that's the funny part about people are calling me. We haven't talked anything about the NAR settlement. It kind of feels like that's all over. That's all blown over. People realize like buying and selling real estate's, relatively speaking, the same as it always was. But people like, I'm just going to sell my house on my own. I don't need an agent. And then you look at the numbers and you're like, taking the professional advice of an agent and doing things like clearing out stuff that you think is beautiful, but not all buyers may think is beautiful, doing a little staging. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, actually the professional helped me sell it for 17% more than I would have sold it on my own. Maybe I should kick them 2.5% of this sale and I'll still come out on top. And so, I've been a buyer of real estate myself, right? Me and my wife, and it makes a difference. I remember the first house that we bought in 2006, and I'm not a guy with a super sharp memory, Mark, but like I remember walking into this house, and I was young. We were 26, and you know what I think it was, dude? Like I had met what was my future wife, who I've been married to now for 16 years. Is that the math? Yeah.
That's the math you need to remember.
Right. And like, it's funny thinking about it now. I pictured us living there and like walking through a home that's, it's sending you a message of like, this could be you. And this could be your house. I probably I've never thought about this, and it's funny how things just come out of your friggin' mouth and your brain. There was probably some allure to that because like they had kids and this was like a house set up for a family. And this was like part of that dream. Like you could create a family here. You could raise a family here. And that's where both of my boys were born. And so like that home that we've since moved out of and turned it into a rental, will always hold a special place in my heart because that's the house we came home to after we got married. That's the house that we brought both of the boys home to after both the boys were born. And, I think that, I took that comment of yours and I thought to myself, that's really true. I mean, it happened to me. And I think the same thing happened when I walked through the house we own now. I imagined myself in that backyard with a swimming pool. And oh my gosh, Mark, I'm never going back, dude. 2017, we bought a house with a pool. I can't imagine myself living in a place without a pool for the rest of my days.
I'm with you 100%. Pools and barbecues, man. That's what I'm all about. But here's the thing too. And this is an interesting part about the staging and the lighting as well too. I think one of the things that we like to do with our clients as well too is, you go into those new homes, they're not going to tell you how much those upgrades cost, what is like the upgrade and everything too. They're going to let you walk through it and they're going to let you fall in love with it. A lot of the things that we do is like say like that counter is an upgrade, those floors are upgrade, this, and we can kind of do a little bit of a guesstimate on how much upgrades went into the spot. So I think like that's another thing that's extremely needed, like as far as like walking into Toll Brothers and realizing that the house that you're walking into has maybe $500,000 of finishes that you need to pay for if you want that interior, and the exterior has maybe another like 350. And knowing that also, it's good to have someone with you in that case, because you get carried away. You're like, wow, I want this. This is it. I love it. And then if you don't know how much things cost too, it's a little bit like bait and switch-ish a little bit, where you go there and you're like, I want that, so I don't know. For me,
well,
at least how I look at it.
That was like to my point earlier, know the numbers so you don't get lost in emotion and then end up, with all the upgrades and bumping against the top of your budget.
Oh, 100%. All right, next one. Best day to look for homes during the week, work week, when there's not too many people out there. I gotta say, you guys, I know the weekends are great and it's fun to come out during the weekends and everything too, but I do love like during the week, and not only just for this because it's slower and you can come in and go see it, but I also like the idea that like for me, if I'm looking at the houses, like I love to look at the houses that, because everyone wants a deal. Everyone wants to see what like didn't go during the weekend and everything too. So I like the weekdays looking for houses. But I will tell you one thing though, and this is the throw of the monkey wrench, is on Friday, you're going to see like all the new stuff hit the market. So if you came up during a Wednesday or a Thursday to look, you could be going home and you're like, all right, well, the weekend we can go hang out and do something. And then on Friday, a couple houses pop up and you missed them. Because a lot of listing agents will only list their houses on Friday. You know what I mean, Matt?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've seen that, and as an onlooker in the mortgage space, I saw some of the stuff where it was like list on Thursday or Friday, show it over the weekend, make offers due on Monday or Tuesday. That was like the playbook in California when there's limited inventory, and in some places they can still do that where it's like this thing's going to be one weekend of showings, and you better see it and you better get your offers in because by Tuesday we're going to be in contracts.
It's a crazy, you price aggressively and that definitely can't happen, All right. What a Toll Brothers house looks like in Folsom, California. So just as generic as the rest of the country, modern day Sears, but worse, materials, quality. Look, I gotta say, Toll Brothers blows me away every time I go in there. It's beautiful. It's awesome. And if this is like generic for you, I got to see your house. What do you think of that comment?
You must live in bougie land because what's the most generic builder, Mark? I don't want you talking bad.
I don't really know about generic, but I'd say one of the kind of like whatever, like I know what I'm going to expect when I walk in, probably KB for me. Yeah. KB, I usually always, except for the one in Folsom, for the most part, I know what I'm walking into. Usually the elevations, the outside of them are really kind of big. The interior is a little tight. Then you go to the second floor and it drops by about a foot. Usually that, I'd say. But again, like it's nothing against it. It's just the fact that like I know what, when I go there, like Toll Brothers, for example, even Taylor, whenever I show up, I don't know what to expect. It's like, whoa, blow me away. Like New Home Company on Friday, when they do their opening, I don't know what to expect. If it was KB, I'd pretty much know what to expect. So I'd say that. I would say that. All right, let's go to some polls. Who's annoyed that we're headed back up to the 90-degree days?
Dude,
a lot of people said yes.
2 votes from me, dude. The wife and I both were over. It's at least we got pools, right? I love being in the pool, but still when I'm trapped in this office all day and like just walking from here to the car, is 95 degrees. I'm looking at it right now, dude. What do we got? Dude, we had a beautiful day today, 81 degrees. But then like we're going to go into October next week and we're going to have 97s, 98s in October. Come on, man.
I know. Yeah, I'm not happy about that either, man. I just got into cardigan weather, and I'm loving it. And now, no bueno, man. We're hitting the highs again.
Hoodie, man. I want to throw on a hoodie. I want to have my Kings jacket on, rolling up to the arena. October 24th, opening night, Sacramento Kings. People, you know what I love? as much as anything else, Mark, is an underdog story. People are sleeping on the Kings, dude. Some NBA report ranked us like 18th in the NBA. I got to give this a little bit of space to breathe here. Like, you're out of your mind, man. We played in the Western Conference, which is a super tough conference, and we added DeMar DeRozan. Sacramento Kings, 2024-25. We're going to be the third or fourth seed in the West. We're going to get out of the first round of the playoffs. You heard it here first. So stay tuned. Subscribe to Matt the Mortgage Guy for more Kings knowledge and a little bit of mortgage sprinkled in.
I love it. I love it. Hey, look, man, I'll tell you something. When the Kings do well, the city is just a little bit cheery, more cheery. People have a stride in their step.
You, like you said, man, we got the best fan base ever. Like,
we really, really do.
Yeah. Kings Arena is going to be popping when the A's are playing over there in West Sac at what is that, Sutter Field Park? Is that what it is?
Yep. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun, dude. We're gonna be lighting the beam.
I know. I'm starting to get into that whole lighting the beam thing. At first I was like, lighting the beam, that's what we got. But now I'm getting it. I'm liking it. At first I was like, all right, maybe. But it's all good. All right, so we got this. Next one. Who wins? Rancho Cordova or Citrus Heights? 60% said Rancho. I think before the whole building of Anatolia and everything too, I think they would have been neck and neck. But a lot of people are overlooking Citrus. What do you think?
Rancho Cordova, it continues to impress me, because when I was a kid in the 80s, Rancho Cordova was not nice. Rancho Cordova was, it still wasn't incorporated as a city. I don't know when it incorporated as a city. You'd have to fact check me, Mark. It might have been mid 90s, late 90s. I know, I feel like it's yesterday, but it's been 20 plus years. But Rancho Cordova continues to, come up and get nicer and nicer. And so I think Rancho Cordova has surpassed Citrus Heights, even though you look at Citrus Heights, Fair Oaks. I think my brother-in-law is on the border. I like Citrus Heights. Citrus Heights, Fair Oaks, Carmichael. It's kind of almost all a big blend in some areas, and super nice neighborhoods in there.
I think so too. I'm just scrolling through some of the houses that are available now. I think it's the affordability. It depends on which area of Rancho you're looking at. Citrus, though, one of the things I do like about Citrus, though, is that you can find, not as much in Rancho, but you can definitely find it in Citrus, houses that have land. You can find them, you know what I mean? You can find some Citrus houses. A lot of people are doing ADUs there as well, too. So I do think that both areas, in Rancho, you don't find too many houses with land. But in Citrus, you find those houses that have a little bit more they're kind of a mesh between Rancho meets Fair Oaks, kind of in Carmichael. So I don't know. Like I said, I think we've got a spot in Sacramento for everybody. I have been noticing a friend, Dan Loesch, he's been mentioning the people in Citrus Heights have been building some ADUs out there and everything too. So I don't know. I look at our market as almost an area where it's appreciating no matter where you put your money. Maybe some areas a little bit more than most, but at the same time, I don't look at any area in Sacramento as a bad bet. Even areas that people are I wouldn't buy there. I'm yeah, well, a lot of the spots right now in Sacramento, do you remember back in the day when Folsom was just a spot way out there? No one went to it. It's the prison. No one goes there. Now it's the
off of Highway 50, and my buddy's parents had just bought a new house, right there off of Folsom Boulevard. I don't even know what that community is called, but is it Iron Point? Right there by there's movie theaters and there's Folsom outlets and stuff.
Yeah. I think that is. Yeah.
That was the only thing that was out there, was this little community of homes. And I think that was maybe in the 90s. But yeah, it's wild to see the explosion in Folsom, kind of reminds me Elk Grove's exploded too. I used to drive down I-5 and, Shaquille O'Neal's referenced us being a cow town. You'd probably see it and smell it. And now it's tens of thousands of homes and, all kinds of really great shopping and Delta Shores and So yeah, we've come a long way, and it's wild to think that like with all of the building they've done, they still are so far behind that
Oh yeah.
you've got meetings like the one I talked about this week where there's no homes on tour.
It's nuts, man. I mean, honestly, like, we got what? They're building or in the process of building 30,000 homes in Folsom, 30,000 like in West Roseville. Same thing in Elk Grove. They got West Sacramento. I mean, all that Melrose is just going to build up our entire area. So for me, I'm liking it. Liking it, liking it, liking it. All right, who wins? New homes versus resale. 71% said new homes, Matt. What's up with that?
I mean, I think the points that you said earlier are like valid, right? Like the ability to not have to compete, the ability to have incentives that buys down your interest rate either temporarily or permanently. Like that's real value. That's what buyers want and need, to be quite honest. So I'm not surprised. The one con that I didn't mention, and I think honestly, this is why people subscribe to Matt the Mortgage Guy on YouTube. I've asked the audience, I've polled people, and I shoot straight. Like almost anything I talk about, I've got a pro and a con. And the funny part is someone will watch the same video of mine and one of them's like, you're right. Terrible. And then the other person watched it. You're right. That's the greatest product of all time. And I'm like, how can you watch the same video and have two different viewpoints? Cause like I'm pointing out both sides. The con that people haven't talked about a ton is these new builds. I don't blame them. But in order to bring a product to market at a price where they can actually make some money, I know how expensive it is, for permits. I know how expensive it is, for materials. And so builders, if they're going to cut any corners, the only corner they got left to cut is maybe we won't buy the top-notch material. Maybe we'll go a step down or two steps down. And so I've heard from a lot of people, especially like Dan Loesch and others who know construction, like, hey, listen, that builder is not using high quality material. And, part of me doesn't blame them, but it's something to consider that you might buy a house that's built in 2024 that's less sturdy and less well built than something you might buy that's a resale home that's built in 1980.
Well, here's the thing for me. Like, I think what you said, complete validity on that. Like, I've been hearing a lot of that stuff as well too. But I think here's the thing. I think if people saw stuff on the market that they liked, they would jump, right? I think just some of the stuff just isn't there. I think the benefits of like a resale home is one is, what the community looks like. You know what it looks like. You know exactly where the trees are, where the parks are, where the schools. It's established. Number two is if you buy in a new home community, you're going to have to deal with nails, construction trucks. You're going to hear that noise no matter where you buy. If a community in the area is being built, Folsom Ranch, even by 2030, they're still going to be building. So and you don't have to deal, in most cases, you don't have to deal with Melrose, and that's an extra what? In Folsom, that's like $350. Around $350 is the average in the Sacramento area. And if you buy a house in Citrus, chances are you don't have Melrose on it too. So there are the pros and cons, but I think it might just come down to the idea that people aren't just seeing a lot of what they feel they want right now, because a lot of those 2.75ers are like, I got what you want. I'm not selling it anytime soon. Yeah, see you later. Yeah, so
it's tough, man. I think about our primary that we own. Even if we bought something new, we wouldn't sell it because my 2.5% mortgage is such an asset. I think my camera might have died. This is how long you go live, man. You go so live that my battery has died.
All right, no worries, man.
I think you can still hear me. I know I got to leave to pick up a kiddo from basketball soon, but.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, I love being on here, so I appreciate the invite. It was fun chatting real estate. I was going to slap a new battery in here.
Do it.
Let's see if we can get it in there, man.
All right, if you can come back.
I don't know if I'm necessarily a tech wizard, but let's see if I can get a new battery in this bad boy.
All right, let's see what you got. All right, guys, we're going to go through some more of the polls. We're going to go through some of the questions. We're also going to talk about this new community kind of development that they're going to be doing here in Rancho, which is kind of cool. They're kind of combining the whole green theory. It's just interesting because I started researching this as well after I got a comment on the channel, and it's definitely something you want to tune in for because this is going to be very, very interesting. And while Matt's doing the battery thing, I will kind of bring this stuff up for you guys. Let me see if I got you. Okay, here we go. Boom. All right. Here, hold on for one sec. Let's see where we go. Boom. Okay, so this is a really, really interesting community, and it's in the Rancho area. It's called the Braden, sorry about that. And what they want to do out here, which is kind of interesting, is they want to create this kind of like town center. And here's what it's going to kind of look like. And this is going to be in Rancho, which is kind of interesting. And it's basically going to be a combination of commercial, housing, and it's something I kind of want to research a little bit more, but this is kind of what they're looking like as far as what they're building out there and the plan, the team and everything too. They want to create this like space that combines maybe like live, work, and play together. I mean, a true kind of like crazy master plan community. So like, it's going to be interesting. I'll do some more research on this and maybe I'll tie this into the Rancho video that I'm going to do. But I found this to be very, very interesting as far as like, you know, future development for Sacramento, because I do think that a lot of times what we're going to see in Sacramento is, you know, just a development on how things are going to be. I mean, the future of Sacramento is going to be very, very interesting. And I think that for the most part, we're going to have a lot of people. Oh, I got you back, Matt.
I'm back, baby. The camera
All
is
right.
back on. We're replugged in. I do got to go. I got to pick up the kiddo from basketball. Rio Americano. Go Raiders.
Right.
Hopefully they have a great
All right, we'll let you go,
season.
Matt. I appreciate you being on, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you, brother. Have a good night, dude.
You too. Bye. All right, let's get into some more of these polls. But that Braden area is going to be something I'm going to talk about also in another video. I think it's kind of interesting, the plans that we have for Sacramento. A lot of people think that Sacramento, I think, is going to stay on this even playing field of like what we're doing is just, I think what you're going to see like around 2030 is you're going to see a lot of very modern, very communities pop up. I think the sporting facilities, I think Sacramento is going to take stuff to a whole nother level in the future. And I'm excited for you guys who've actually made the move here. I think Sacramento is a great spot to live in. And I don't think I'm ever shy away from this. A lot of people say that I'm like a realtor, so I'm selling Sacramento. But for the most part, I'm a Sacramento enthusiast. I made the move from the Bay Area. I'm loving it. Love our job diversity, our state jobs. I love our lifestyle here, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Okay, so let's talk about this. Who plans on buying later this year? Yes, no. I think what we're seeing right now, and what Matt and I were talking about a little bit, was the idea that right now with interest rates dropping, we should have seen a lot more people jumping in and buying, but we're not. This has gotten a lot of realtors worried, a lot of mortgage professional and real estate kind of statistic people kind of worried what's happening. What you're probably going to end up seeing is if sellers don't get certain price on their homes, they're probably going to bring them in and they'll probably relist them during the spring. So just expect that. Now, my biggest secret I can tell you guys about that is that I would keep notes of a lot of the addresses that you're looking at, because a lot of my buyers right now are looking at specific addresses and waiting for those prices to drop. I would keep note of the addresses that you're looking at. And if one day miraculously they disappear, that just means they're on hold till spring. They're still for sale. You can reach out to the agent for sure and see if you can make an offer in on the house. It might be an offer that the seller at this time might consider because they don't want to deal with the hassle of listing it in spring. So that's my little tip of the day. All right, next one here. This property is magical. The view is amazing. It's just waiting for someone to install an infinity edge pool. That's our property in Pilot Hill, which is just amazing. If you guys are looking for a compound, if you're looking for a place that currently has under $2,500 of home insurance and it's on the top of the hill with fulsome views, it's pretty amazing. And that's $2,500 a year. So it's pretty awesome. Solar, guest house, another unit. It's just an awesome spot. All right. Hey, Mark and Aaron, can you share the name of your recommended inspectors? Okay. The Aaron, I don't think has put the name of his inspector yet, but the inspector I like to go with is Pillar to Post. They're a chain, but one of the things I like about Pillar to Post that I've seen a lot of people that they don't do is they do roof. They look over the roof via drone if they can't get up there. They also do infrared scanning for moisture, and they do air purification testing. A lot of inspectors that I know in the Sacramento don't have those services. And if you're looking for something that's very thorough, they're the way to go. Now, I also like them for new homes because their infrared scanning can go through the walls. A lot of times people will buy homes and the walls are already up. You don't really know what it's like underneath there. Their scanning can get into the walls and tell you if there's any problems. So I really like pillar to post. Interest rates are dropping. Should I buy now or wait? People are losing their jobs and property taxes are going up. Don't do it. Here's the thing, guys, on this channel and everything that you heard me go through with Matt, everything that you hear me every single video, my bottom line on buying a house is time your life. Do not time the market. Do not feel pressured to buy. Do not feel like you're missing out on something. Worry about your job security, money in the bank. Maybe you had a kid and you need more space. That's how life should be. That's how buying should be. That should be the biggest influence about you buying. Timing the market, I've seen more people lose than win when they time the market. All right, what else we got? Brand new 4-bedroom home in Roseville. Guys, I'm going to be dropping a lot of short content. I'm always out in the field. So is my team. If you guys are looking to work with a team that's out there, boots on the ground, that's us. We are always out there. All these videos that you see me dropping right now, short form with all these models, that's because we're out there every single day hitting the pavement and showing you guys the best of Sacramento. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. And these videos, they're not going to stop. They're going to only increase. Inside the gorgeous Hilltop, California state. How much is home insurance? It's underneath $2,500 a year. Wow, what nice property. We've already got a couple bites, guys. If you guys are looking for a compound, I don't even, you can't even call it a compound. We call it a California estate. It's just amazing. You guys should definitely like check it out. It's pretty amazing, especially if you're looking for that kind of thing. And or also maybe looking for a unit that has a couple Airbnbs that you can make some money off of as well too. What's going on in Plumas Lake? Plumas Lake is going. Plumas Lake, Linda, even Yuba City, all those areas are becoming, I think, what Sacramento was maybe about 7 or 8 years ago. I think the price points are good. I think there's Costco going around the Plumas Lake area. Richmond American is building there. What do we got? We got JMC that's building there. We have what's called LGI that's building there. The area is growing. I mean, if you're looking for something like, let's say, for example, you're looking at Sacramento and you're seeing stuff and you're going, you know what, even $500,000, that's something I really can't deal with. I think if you go over to the Plumas Lake, if you go over to like Linda, you can get stuff out there for maybe $100,000 cheaper. And a lot of people are doing that because they see the growth potential. Sacramento is doing some crazy stuff, but it always is smart when you're kind of betting on an area that's growing in the near future. And I think that area, the Plumas Lake area, I think that's going to be, I think that's a lot more affordable than Sacramento is at this point for a lot of people who grew up in Sacramento. In fact, I see a lot of the Sacramento people who grew up here are moving to Linda and are moving to Plumas Lake. I like that area for the future. And if it was me and I was looking for maybe like a brand new home, a 4 and 2 for under like $450, the 2 areas I'd be looking at would be 3 areas, Linda, Plumas Lake, and Lincoln. Because I think Lincoln also has a lot of building ahead of it. And I think LGI is going to be building there for the low 400s. So that's what I will say about Plumas Lake. All right. Boom. Inside the most extravagant home in Grant Bay. Keep up the good work, man. Your content adds so much value for viewers. I appreciate it, guys. And like I said, I play requests. So if you guys have any kind of like, just put some comments underneath the videos and I'll get to them because this is kind of what I want to do. I want to make this channel something that you guys let me say, hey, Mark, I know you've probably been to like Rancho. Talk to me about the new home builders. And I will, because honestly, I have at least 5 clients that are looking in Rancho specifically for new homes. And I'd be more than happy to drop that video. Like I said, I'll make that video available to you guys within 10 days. If you have any other requests, I can do that as well too. Ooh, can you please do a show on Plumas Lake? All right, I will. Maybe I will do that area versus Sacramento and bring on someone from Plumas Lake. If you guys have a good realtor you guys like out in Plumas Lake as well too, I'd love to bring them on. So maybe I'll do a Plumas Lake video in the next coming weeks as well too. So absolutely, I play requests. Okay, so boom, next one. Just a reminder, have an inspection done by a qualified and vetted company. DR is notorious for garbage builds. Guys, I'll tell you this. Having an inspection is one of those things. If any one of my clients ask me, should I get an inspection done on my new home? I would say yes. I also think that it's a shame that a lot of these new home companies don't allow inspections until you've actually closed a deal. that doesn't make sense to me. Hopefully, and I've been seeing it more and more, that there are some inspectors that are coming out here. They're specializing in new home builds, and I'm excited that there's going to be more competition for pillar to post. Maybe we can even get Cy, that guy from, I think, Las Vegas and Phoenix, come out. But yes, inspections. What else we got? In Folsom, worth it. Affordability is still there for $900K. Okay, guys, look. Folsom is what it is. And if you're looking for California and if you're looking for that kind of lifestyle in Folsom, honestly, $900,000 is still somewhat hard to do in Folsom. And that's why those houses at Tri Point for the low sixes are such a great deal. So if you're looking for affordable Folsom, go to Tri Point, go to Canterley and Larry. They have 12 homes left. They sell to investors and first-time home buyers. I would really say that should be your first stop. All right, that'd be great if you can cover that area. And Linda, focus on Lincoln would be great. All right, we got Linda and then we got Lincoln. Absolutely. We'll talk maybe about a little bit about like the bang for your buck you can get out there as well too. So I'm definitely making a list, and like I say, I definitely play a request. Can you do a show on the Pockets River Lake? Absolutely. All right. I like it. Trust me, I'm going to write these all in a way more organized fashion, but I do play requests. So if you guys have any more, let me know. All right. Let me think. Love it there. What a $2 million home looks like in Grant Bay. Grant Bay is awesome. If you guys haven't seen Grant Bay, it's kind of like one of these areas that's always been super popular. The price per square footage is off the hook. There's some amazing communities. The only thing that I will tell you about Grant Bay specifically is because it's so close to Folsom Lake, the closer you are to Folsom Lake, the more problems you could have with home insurance. So just don't think because you're in the middle of nowhere on a hill, home insurance is crazy. Also realize that areas like Grant Bay, because the price point is so high there and they are close to Folsom Lake, definitely check addresses. Make sure you have a good home insurance person because it can definitely add up. All right. Again, guys, if Braden Project will be a good addition to Rancho Cordova community. That was a project that I was showing you. I think if it gets done the way it says, I think it'll add a lot of value to the Rancho area. I think that if it blends with what they're doing in Folsom Ranch, that area could be a powerhouse. And then all of a sudden, if they do that connector between Folsom, El Dorado Hills, and Elk Grove, the way that Sacramento could develop in the near future, or not in the near future, maybe like 5 or 10 years down the road, is just insane about how Sacramento could be as far as what it's doing right now. I mean, all this stuff like the Braden Project and everything too, I'm so excited to see that because I didn't want so many stale communities. I was hoping they'd incorporate like more cutting edge stuff, more technology, more kind of green stuff too. And it looks like that's kind of what they're doing with this project. So hopefully that adds to Rancho. And I definitely think it will based on what I'm reading. All right, pros and cons living in Rancho Cordova. I live in hey, Wendy, I haven't seen you tonight, but hopefully you're doing well. I live in a Powell home, 595 HOA, roof, outside paint in my house, painting, drive-by security, gardening, etc. Sometimes I have a concept. I have the concept that HOA is similar to insurance. I noticed that larger Gold River homes, HOA is considerably cheaper though. I wonder why. I'm not sure if HOA is a good deal. Honestly, in Gold River, what you're going to notice is that the condos and the manor homes definitely have a higher HOA. You're going to see the Powell homes roughly go between maybe like 250 to maybe like 400 around there for the HOAs. And then you're going to see the non-Powell homes go probably like 120, 125 to maybe 200. So that's what you're going to see. And I think before you do pull the trigger on any house, definitely read over the HOA, see how restrictive it is. HOAs aren't for everybody, but at least before you buy your home, you should figure out what the HOA rules are and if you can handle it. Now, if you guys are enjoying the broadcast, please smash that like button. It would mean a lot to me and whoever is out there controlling the YouTube algorithm. And if you're looking to see some homes in the near future or whatnot, or if you want to talk real estate, there's a number for me. I answer the phone. I talk real estate literally all day. Sad but true. And I'm here for you guys if you guys have any questions regarding this broadcast or Sacramento in general. All right, what do we got? Wow, under $700 for a new home in Folsom, California, extortion, robbery. I don't know where you're living, but under $700,000 in Folsom, California, if you can find it, if you can get it. I mean, depending, of course, you don't see that much in Folsom. All right, pros and cons of living in a Rancho. Cameron Park, you can still find good prices. Sierra Field, 30 minutes to downtown. Heard a Costco is coming to El Dorado Hills. Yes, there is a new Costco coming to El Dorado Hills, and I'm putting Cameron Park on my list as far as to do video on too. there's some people who don't like Cameron Park. I think it's a great bang for your buck. I think Cameron Park for me is beautiful. I love the idea of living in like that kind of Northern California scenery. So for me, I don't know. I definitely love to do a video on Cameron Park. The only negative that I ever saw, no, two negatives I saw with Cameron Park is one is they don't have too many sidewalks, which kind of bugged me because I like to go for walks. And the other thing about Cameron Park was for my wife, she has vertigo and it's very windy over there. All right, hold on. Phoenix might get to 106 this weekend. Enjoy the cool 80s and 90s. Thank you. I know. Like I said, I'm seeing all this stuff about Florida, all these tornadoes, all these hurricanes. And I know you guys, I appreciate you putting up with me when I talk about the heat in Sacramento, which honestly ain't that bad if that's all we got. Like I said, we're kind of far away from San Francisco. So the earthquake stuff, we might slightly feel something, but for the most part, the things that we get seasonally, we have some fire season going on here, and we got hot weather during the summertime. Boo-hoo, Sacramento. So for me, we know we have it good here. All right. Boom. Next one. Which new home do you like better? Traditional. Okay, so if you guys haven't noticed that with new homes, you get elevation. That's the outside of the building, outside of the house. They're called elevations. Usually there's traditional, Tuscan, Craftsman, and all that stuff too. So I did a video. A lot of people like the traditional. The traditional elevation tends to cost $0 extra. Spanish tends to be a little bit more expensive. And I think it's like farmhouse tends to be a little bit more expensive. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the short content. Will the Fed rate cuts boost Sacramento's housing market? I'm not buying till next summer at the earliest. Fed's already said they're cutting the rates 3 more times. Guys, I'm hoping for you guys that the rates go down. Buyer demand isn't crazy. Resale inventory is coming back, but there's just a lot of time, and I've seen the market switch gears really, really quick. Just don't get caught in one of those things where like 6 months down the road, you say, timing was right. In my life, I should have bought then. I waited a little bit, and all of a sudden, the market switched, and I'm not in a good position anymore. Now, I'm not saying don't time the market. I'm saying that if the time is right for you to buy right now, and you're saying to yourself, okay, job's good, I want to buy a house, or I'm making the move to Sacramento, timing the market and just assuming these rate cuts are coming, just be aware. That's it. And like I said, you guys are on this journey. You guys are the ones paying the mortgage payment. So it's completely up to you guys and what you do. Hopefully these videos that I'm doing are more educational than selly, because that's definitely not how I want to come across. Okay, mortgage rates are coming down and home buyers are ready to pounce. I'm going to tell you guys something. We've been coining the word pounce for a while, but I think it's correct. I think for the most part, like if you guys are getting pre-approved, I'd say one of the things that I would say more than anything, know the communities, areas, know what things are moving, price per square footage. Now's your time for the education. If you're not ready to buy, if you're saying to yourself, we're going to buy maybe sometime next year, get your education piece of the puzzle done right now. It's going to help you in the long run, I promise. All right, love the rate cut hype. LOL. Are we in 5s? No. Well, kind of. I think you can get into the 5s right now, but I think it's like perfect credit and everything too. I still think we're in the low 6s pretty much. All right, love the rate. Prices are still way too high. Guys, I'm getting a lot of people that are telling me prices are still too high. I think, like I said, there's going to be a mix of buyers mix of sellers who actually reduce, and there's going to be a mix of sellers who pull their houses on the market and then relist in spring. Okay, D.R. Horton has a bunch of communities right now that just released over in West Roseville that I took a look at. They're pretty good, as far as D.R. Horton goes. I'd definitely say go take a look at them. There's new communities popping up all the time. I'm going to be at the New Home Company's community on Friday. The New Home community, I think, is Arbor Ranch. The VIP event, whatever they want to call it, is starting I think from 11:30 to 2 o'clock. It should be fun. I'm going to see if I can videotape some of the models for you guys as well too. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this broadcast. And if you did, one more time, smash that like button and let me know that you like these videos that we're doing as we're bringing on guests just for you. And we're trying to make this show better just for you. And now if you're thinking about making the move to the Sacramento area, or you have any questions, right? And if you're thinking Austin, maybe here, maybe Sacramento, feel free to give me a call. I don't really do the hard sell. I'll give you some information on the area and hopefully it helps you down the road. Until next time, guys, this is Mark. We've gone for almost 2 hours and I'll let you go for the night. Have a good one. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune into the Sacramento Real Estate Live broadcast on YouTube. The show would be nothing if it wasn't for the viewers and subscribers who took time out of their evening to watch and contribute to the show. Now, if you enjoyed the show, please smash that like button or leave a comment on how we can improve and make this show better. Now, if you're looking to purchase a home, sell a home, or just have questions about the Sacramento area, we would love to be your team in the area, so please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Also, if you want some additional videos about the Sacramento area, here's a good one. It'll help you understand why so many people are making the move to the Sacramento area and calling it their home. It's right over there.